Hi, welcome back to Hunt Hill at Home. Today is a busy day at Hunt Hill. We've got lots of people out hiking, enjoying our nature playscape that's right behind me. We also have our maintenance staff busy working, mowing the lawn and fixing up the place. So if you hear any noises, it's all right. It's just people enjoying being out in nature. Now, it's been pretty windy and a little bit chilly for August lately, so I thought I would do something related to that. And so today we're going to be making some pinwheels. Now, pinwheels are really cool. They're fairly simple to make and they only use a few different tools that you have to have. Most of those tools I bet you can find in your own homes. And we will be talking about engineering as well. Now, engineering, I won't go too far into it, but it was our theme for our camp, our day camp that was supposed to be today. So I'll give you some pointers on how to be some engineers as well. But before we get all the way into making our pinwheels and talking about being engineers, I want to share our joke of the day with you. So, when I was a little kid, my mom said I was just fascinated by the wind. Well, she didn't say exactly that way. She didn't say that I was fascinated by the wind. She said I was totally blown away by it. All right, let's make some pinwheels. The tools that you're going to need are some actual pins for the pinwheel. So make sure that you have permission to have a pin. The sewing pins seem to work the best. One that has like a nice big head on it, and you can pick one with a nice color. You're also going to need some scissors, a ruler, a piece of paper, and I've found that for my experience, thicker paper works well. So this is some cardstock paper. And you'll need a pencil or a pen, something to write with. All right, so what you need to make your pinwheel, I just remembered something. With something to write with, if you use a pen, you're also going to need a pencil for the eraser at the very end of this. So, to get started, first thing you're going to need to do is have a square. This one is a rectangle. So this isn't going to work quite perfectly for me. So I'm going to use my ruler and I'll measure the shorter side. So the shorter side is 8.5 inches. So then I want my longer side to be 8.5 inches too. So I will put a little mark right here at 8.5 and then a little mark at the bottom at 8.5. And then I will use my ruler to connect those lines. And now I can cut on that line. I don't need this scrap of paper. I can save that for a different craft I do another time. I'm going to put that off to the side so I don't lose it. Okay, now that I have my square, I need to find where the exact middle is. So I'm going to use my ruler again, and I'm going to measure from corner to corner, so these diagonals. And I can actually use my pencil right here and draw from corner to corner, so I have that diagonal here. There we go. We've got our diagonals drawn through there so we can see the little spot in the middle. That must be the very middle of my pinwheel. Now I need to cut out parts of this, but I don't want to cut all the way to the middle because then I'm going to have a bunch of triangles. And I want this to be held together a little bit. So I'm going to go a little past halfway down, and I'm going to put a little mark at the same spot on each of these diagonals. That way I know how far to cut. There we go. So if you want to see it closer up, I have these little marks to tell me to stop cutting. They're about 4 inches in from the sides here. So now I can cut into each of the sides to make those little flaps that you see on our pinwheel here. Okay, so I've got the little flappy flaps now. Now I have my very last step is a little tricky, and it might take you a few tries, and that's okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to gently roll in every other flap. So you see how one flap is hanging out, and then the next one is in, out, in, out, in. We're going to do the same thing on this one. So this one I will roll in, so it's just above the center, and I'm going to hold it above like this. Then I will skip one and roll in the next one, and I'm going to pinch those together so they're held up. Then I will skip one, roll one in, skip one, roll one in. And you can see they slipped out of my hand, and that's okay. You just roll them back in, and you've got your general pinwheel shape now. Since I have all of these flaps all on top of one of another, I can use my pin now to poke through them. Now they might be kind of challenging to poke through, so you can let them go. That is okay. And poke through them one at a time if you need to. There we go. Now the last step is you need to poke this into something that's going to hold it in place. So this is where the pencil eraser comes in handy. Pencil eraser is tough enough that it's going to hold that pin, but it's also soft enough that you can poke it into there. So I'm going to poke this through the very back, right on that very center, and then I'm going to poke it into my eraser. I went too far and poked it all the way through. There we go. So now I have my pinwheel. It is all set. Make sure when you've got it on the back here, it's not poking all the way through the back because you don't want to poke yourself. All right. So now you need to find some wind. And Sally told me as soon as I told her that we're going to do pinwheels today, she was like, well, I hope the wind holds up. And of course it just died down as I was preparing for this. But if you don't have wind, you can always make some wind yourself. Let me fix up my pinwheel here. So if I blow on my pinwheel, I need to get my fingers way low so they're not blocking it. It will spin a little bit. I can also run with it and it will spin. Or hopefully the wind will pick up a little bit. Now, let's get into some engineering. Ooh, here we go. If I turn it a little bit more into the breeze, it'll get a little bit of wind there. Awesome. Let's turn this other guy too. So let's get into some engineering with this. So we know our general way that we can build a pinwheel, but can we change it to make it better, to make it faster, to make it easier to make? So these are all things that you can think about, and you can think about little things that you can change in the materials to make it different. So maybe I can try out different types of paper and see which paper is the best for making pinwheels. Or maybe I could try poking it into something else besides a pencil eraser. So when you are at home and trying this out, try to see what sorts of things you can do with your pinwheel to make it even better. And if you find out anything cool, feel free to show it to us. We'd love to see your posts, any replies, any comments on this video. All right, thanks for watching, and go outside and enjoy the day. Bye.